What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tapping into the very first episode of a brand new podcast that we're launching right here, right now. It's called Gratitude for the Grind, and it's for entrepreneurs who want to prioritize their heart and their mind. Today, we're talking with a very special individual who I'm excited to jump into this conversation with. We're talking with Joy Kriston, who is the queen of referrals, the giving guru. I don't know if she'll let me call her that, but she is a copywriter who builds her business on giving referrals, making connections, making sure people are actually reaching their goals and pushing past the limits that they had set for themselves and doing things that they never thought they could actually do. I really love who Joy is and what she's doing in the world because she truly prioritizes her impact to her income, and her whole deal is about making a difference. Today we're talking with Joy. Joy, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored.
Thank you for being here on the first episode. Celebration, celebration.
So exciting.
So, Joy, I was able to introduce you just a little bit. Just, I'm sure I just scratched the surface. Could you tell us a little bit more about what you do, who you are, and what you're up to?
Well, I've been told before I do a few too many things. People you're going to hear in the marketing world, if you don't pick just one thing, you're not going to get anywhere in life if you're doing too many things. I've said no to a lot of things. First and foremost, I'm a copywriter. That's my thing, but there's so much more that goes into it than just being a copywriter. There's networking. Like I said, like you said, there's the referring part that comes in. You're making these connections with businesses all over the place that have nothing to do with what you do, but there's real opportunity there for partnerships and connections and things that you would never even imagine. I never would have thought any of that would have been possible when I started out as a copywriter. So, I do get offered a lot of different things. You know, at the top of the list though is copywriting. That's always been my goal, to be a writer. I like doing the projects, like working in the grind, doing the hard work. That's what I love. What I love to do. And where that's going to take me, I'm not sure. Things are changing all the time, but I just know that I just want to help as many people as I can get to where they want to be in their business as a solo, change their career path.
Right.
So many things, so many things.
And I love that. And I love listening to you talk about, how you want to make an impact in the world. And that's why I thought you would be a perfect person to kick off this brand new podcast with, because the idea is that, in my other podcast, the Mindful Money Makers, it's all about being mindful, being healthy, and taking care of your mind, but for the purpose of making money, right? And this podcast is more centered on making an impact. And in order to make an impact, you realize that there is no rule book that you can just follow. There's so many rules in our industry and so many ways to get where we want to go. But this is kind of going off the beaten path and realizing that there's no shortcut around discipline, around showing up, around being authentic, being your true self, and just wanting to help. The one rule that triggered when you said it was that you can't do but so many things, right, and expect to be successful. And it's like, but who says that? Who actually tests that?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that when
Right.
you have an attitude of just gratitude for if it's gonna be a little bit tougher to get there, then so be it, because
Yeah.
I'm in it to make an impact. I'm in it to make a difference and a change. And I love
Yeah.
hearing that, in what you do.
Yeah. Yeah. When I first trained to be a copywriter about 2.5 years ago, the program that I was in, there was, it's a large program. I don't know. Now I'm sure there's probably upwards of 8,000 people that are in this group. Um, so it's really easy to get lost in it when you're not really connecting. You connect with certain people. So the people that were in our group, like that were, in our kind of circle or whatever, as we were growing and learning, now looking back I'm the only one left. I'm the only one that stood the course. I think the average time people will take when they're trying something new is like 5 or 6 months. They try at it, like, then they throw in the towel when it gets too tough. But I think what all that comes down to is I'm no different than anyone else. I'm not anything special. It's just that in my mind, something snapped, like a light bulb moment, like an aha moment, where it was like, it doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter if I don't make money for 10 years. Like, I'm still doing this.
Right,
You know what
right.
I mean? And that's probably the difference, is not so much maybe even just the word mindset itself, but the word belief.
Mhm.
Like, do you believe that this is your true purpose in life? And what are you going to do about it? Are you going to let yourself get in the way? And if so, then that's fine. Do something different. Um, but if not, and like you said too about, you know, how do they know? Well, everybody's path is different. Like, you can teach a coaching course, and this is what you do. This is step by step. This is what you do. It isn't going to be the same for everybody. There's going to be different pathways that people take, and they're going to end up in the same outcome,
Mhm.
but there's a different way of getting there. So yeah, just with that is that was the first program I took. And then there was a lot of steps since then, along the way. But it was all just to get me to the next step, to the
Mhm.
next level. And I never could have foreseen how that was going to play out
Mhm.
in this period of time.
Mhm.
I never would have imagined, like, I never would have thought that when I started to be, that I decided, okay, I want to be a copywriter. I'm going to learn everything that takes to get there. I never would have thought I would be meeting the people I would be meeting, and I'd be on the calls I'd be on. I'd be doing the things I would be doing. I'd be able to be on these podcasts like we are today, and be able to interview people that have been through traumatic experiences, and be able to write something on media, and people will listen. People will message me and say, that really made an impact in my life. And I never would have thought that one decision would have snowballed into what it is today.
Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've been able to experience, some of the most exciting parts about your journey so far.
Well, I mean, I I don't know, like, there's just so many. It's pretty awesome to be able to think, you think you can't go and you can't talk to a certain person because maybe they're too big, or how can you get in front of this person? How can you try to write for this person? And then there's opportunities that come up where you meet someone who knows that person. And then you realize they're just a person. That's it. They want to be treated like everybody else. They have yes men and women all around them. And they're just used to getting everything they want. They want somebody that's a real person that they can connect with. I just think it grows your confidence when you're involved with these kind of relationships, when you have these opportunities. I would say one thing I have really experienced is that you can have a partnership with anyone in the world, and don't discount it
Mhm.
because of who the person is. Like, never ever do that. Never. I
Right.
I I've realized that is that you just never know what someone has going on behind the scenes.
Mhm.
You don't know.
Right. But I think it's also safe to assume that, like exactly what you said, that behind the scenes, that person is human. Like when you strip away all of the different layers, I think that we spend a lot of time focusing on who we are and making sure that we feel like we're good enough. But I think on the other side of that transaction is our perception of who other people are. Right? Oh, they're too rich, they're too wealthy, they're too busy, they're too successful, they're too attractive, they're too this and that, all of that stuff. And when you look past that, you find exactly what you said again, that they're just human, right?
Yeah.
And it becomes a lot easier to know that you're worth just as much and that you can have that conversation and you can go for that
Yeah.
partnership. That's very powerful, very helpful because we put a lot of
Yeah.
people on a pedestal, celebrities and
Do.
I've been put on a pedestal. Like people have jumped on a call with me, like, "Oh, I've been watching you for such and such years, and and I'm honored, I'm, flattered, but I'm like, at the same time, I just did the thing that I wanted to do, and I don't think that it's extraordinary. Like, I get that the people are facing different challenges, and people have different walks of life that might make it might make it more challenging, but it's also very simple, and everybody's capable of doing some amazing things if we just get past, those ideas.
Absolutely. I think too, like, and what I've done a lot too is I don't check bios, and I try not to research the person too much before I meet them. And this is what I do myself. I never even really, I know what I know of you, but I didn't really dig in and research you, because this is how I do things. And I don't know how many times I can tell you I've been on these calls with this person, um, this meeting, and then later I've talked to someone else about who I was talking with, and they're like, "You know who that is, right?" I'm like, "Well, I just had a meeting with them." They're like, "This is he did this, this, and this, and oh my God, he invented this." And I'm like, "What?" And if I would have known any of that, it would have been so awkward, and I would have been so nervous. And so I just like to go into it like, yeah, I might not know all the things you've done or your accolades and that, but that's how I work.
Right, right.
Except for when I have to write for them, then I need to know everything about
Yeah,
them.
then it's the opposite. That's really refreshing to hear you say, because we always talk about, oh, you're supposed to do this, or you're supposed to be that. If you want this opportunity, then you need to do XYZ, cross your T's, dot your I's, all the whole 9 yards. But me personally, I appreciate being able to get to know someone in real time. You
Yeah.
know, we've been Facebook friends for a while, and I love what you post, but this is our first opportunity actually getting to talk and converse, and we
Yeah.
get to create content out of it, and I think it's just such an authentic way of doing things, where you can actually connect with a person instead of it being such a business transaction. I Googled the hell out of you, and I know
Yeah.
everything that you've done. To a degree, it's helpful, and in certain situations, time and place for everything, but I never find it to be acceptable to just go for it, to just go off of a whim and just meet and talk. And first day we just decided to do this like 5 seconds before hitting
Yeah.
record, right? So I
Yeah.
love that we have the freedom to do things like that and still make a difference, make an income, and make a impact.
Yeah. I think, and then people, that's what they want to see too, like a real conversation, like the interviews that are not going to be strategically placed with specific questions. And I know ahead of time. The first one I did was like that. And I actually gave him the questions. I'm like, this is what you're asking me, because it was my first one. And I knew him. It went really well too, but I was so nervous because it was my very first one.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just better when you're just authentic,
Right,
for
right.
sure, in your answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that gives the people listening right now another look behind the scenes, because a lot of times you putting people on a pedestal when it's been intentional for them to create this persona, right? To create what you think of them. Your perception of them is curated by what they put out. Like, you have scripted questions. I've been on interviews like that, and there's nothing wrong with them. But I think that if people understood, what's actually going on behind the scenes, they wouldn't separate themselves so much from the success, right? If they can
Yeah.
see and resonate with you as a person, then that is more beneficial to actually helping them from where they are than the person that's sitting on a yacht saying, I don't know, and I'm going to say his name. Yeah, Grant Cardone is talking about, I don't know how you live with less than $400,000 a year, when most people don't make that amount of money, and they feel like they should, and then they start looking for the course that's going to help me make $400,000. And
Yeah.
how convenient, Grant is going to have, he's going to offer you a course to kind of, to pick at
Yeah.
that insecurity that you have, like, oh, as a man I should be making $400,000 and I'm not making it, so I feel less than. Let me give
Yeah.
you $2,000, maybe the last of my bank account, to get this course, to potentially, but not probably, make a large sum of money every month.
Yeah.
There's a better way to do it. And talking to you is just really refreshing to know that you can be real, you can be where you are, and you can still feel great about yourself and super confident.
No, I think, to be honest, the way I am personally, and as you get to know me more, you'll see this. I'm not about like a certain dollar amount. Yes, we're trying to bring revenue and ROI to our clients, like as we write for them. This is what the whole sole purpose of what we do is. But when it comes down to me as a person, I don't think that way. Um, I've never been able to think that way, like make this much money by this much time. Yes, I've worked for agencies where they like have blue skied it, where I hung in longer than I needed to, where they're like, you're going to make 30K in like, in like 4 months, but that you'll be 30K a month. So then you stick around, right? To see what happens with that. And you hang in a little bit too long. People get sucked into that, right? But when I started to realize that just being authentically myself um, was a game changer for so many different ways, and I think it could be the same for anybody out there. And when they don't look at what money that they want to make, and they're just chasing the dollar, but they're looking at just building themselves up, becoming known. Like you want to be known for what you do. You want someone to hire you because of who you are. They already know that you can do well. You can do good for them. But I got a client not long ago, a few months back, and it was like the perfect scenario because it was someone who hired me, who let me write in my voice to test it, like test the audience. Let's see how it works. The voice ended up, it is pretty similar to what his is. So that worked really well. Something like that. Like, I mean, you want to attract those clients that they know what they're going to get when they come to you.
Mm-hmm.
They know because they know you. They feel like they know you. That's the trust is there. So I think people lose that one aspect of building. Well, how do you build trust if they don't know me? I hear it all the time. It takes time.
Right.
It takes time.
Takes time, and
Yeah.
there's no shortcut. There is
No.
no shortcut. There are, however, resources, right, that can help you. You can collaborate with people that can kind of help you craft your message, your authentic message, in a way that it is, consumable to the people that you want it to reach and make an impact. And one of the ways to do that is to work with a copywriter, right? So, tell us a little bit about what it's like to work with you.
Well, I mean, I'm different for every person. Like I've found it really difficult to niche down. I mostly work with coaches and consultants. I've worked for anybody and everybody, but I would say that's probably, who comes to me the most is a coach or a consultant, entrepreneur type. I have partnered with another copywriter slash marketer who we're trying to build up a group that we just started. And sorry, I'm just getting a message here right now. I just need to and so basically we're going to tag team things together because we're very similar in the way that we write. And as we help people, it's depends on what their needs are. So do they need an email campaign? Do they need a website? Do you have a list? Are you starting from scratch? Are you doing okay, but you just want to scale? So this is where the partnerships and the referrals come into play too. Because if I feel like you're a better fit for this other person that I know that does this amazing thing that you need, I'm not going to take it on. You're going to go to him, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, it depends. I mean, I would say for me, working with me, you're not just going to get me. You're going to get a lot of other people because I bring in other people depending on the needs of the person. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. How can we get connected with you, Joy?
Um, Facebook is like the only, I'm trying to go over to LinkedIn, but they don't get my sarcasm over there. I'm trying. I'm gonna like inch my way in. But yeah, so I can give you my email address.
Yeah, we'll
Or,
drop it in the description below, and everybody will run to the email address. Actually, it'll already be in there. If you want to say it, you can say it too.
okay, it's just joy.kriston@drivencopy@gmail.com. or
Perfect.
joy.kriston drivencopy@gmail.com. Yeah, and on my page too, I have a link that shows my sales page. It shows my Facebook group, and it shows my Calendly link just on my bio. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I do have a website too, but it's outdated and we don't want to go there. That needs to be redone.
As somebody that is friends with you on Facebook, I do implore that anybody listening right now go and befriend you and get on your timeline, because you'll be better for it. There's a lot of really good ideas coming from you. And I look forward to what we could do as far as copywriting goes as well. I know that there's a lot of people that are ready to go ahead and work with you right now after hearing what you had to say, because authentic expression of self is extremely important. It's probably one of the most important things, I think, and especially when so many businesses are now becoming online. There's a lot of competition. I think the only differentiator, if that's the word, right? Differentiator
Yeah.
is who's being most authentic, who's more of themselves. And there's so many people that are getting into the courses and becoming carbon copies of what they think is going to get them to $400,000 months, that they're losing the connection, they're losing the resonance, with real people, with real lives, and not just
That's
it's a false urgency and all of that stuff.
this is part of why, like, I was really excited to get on a call with you, because you're one of those people, when you pop up in my feed, I'm just like, what did he say now? Like, I'm just excited to see what you put, because there's so much power behind your words. And I just love it. I love it. I love how people react to you too. And like the attention that you command is really powerful. It's not that common. Like, I mean, there's some of it, there's power players out there. There's power players out there that don't even realize that they don't even know what they're doing. They don't even see it.
Right.
But yeah, I really love how you like to push the envelope too with what you say and what you are requiring of people with the questions you ask. They're very intentional. Yeah.
That's love.
So I appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you too. That's love, because I'm always afraid of like going too far. I mean, not in the moment. In the moment, I'm heated.
Yeah.
I'm on fire.
Yeah.
But after, it's like, oh, you said that. You said that.
Well, I have that feeling too. Sometimes when you read it back and you're like, oh, maybe I should edit it. Yeah. Yeah.
But I end up leaving it, because in the name of just authentic expression, because that's what I want to promote more and more in more people, is that right or wrong, get it out there, have the conversation, become closer to the people you're supposed to come closer to, distance yourself from the people you're supposed to distance yourself from, and live a happy, rich life, fully expressed. Because my grandmother said, I was helping her write her book. She went to rehab, right? And one thing they told her was secrets keep you sick, right? So I feel healthy and I feel empowered when I have a platform to express, and not everybody likes it, but some people really love it. So I want to promote that in as many people. And I think I see the same qualities in you and what you post.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's like they're intentional questions, because I want to know the answers. And being a copywriter, it's a good thing to be a question asker, because you want someone like that who's going to ask you, annoyingly so, all these questions that you don't really know the answer to, or you don't want to say. But I genuinely want to know what people, like I put up a religion post one time, and it went crazy. It had like over 300 comments, and people were like, getting at each other. That was not my intention of the post, but I will tell you, some of the things people were putting was just so amazing to see what people believe all over the world, all different cultures. And it fascinates me. I couldn't even respond. I couldn't even comment on them all. And I just love it. And there's relationships are like that too. And questions like this, and people feel so passionate about that stuff, but I just want to get people talking about it.
Right. We gotta, but I started a Facebook group you might like. It's called Make America Talk Again. we're going to reactivate that group. It might actually turn into another podcast. We'll find out.
I
But
love it.
my last question for you, Joy, is what is some of the things that you're most grateful for on your journey so far?
What am I grateful for? I'm just grateful for life, like in general. Like I'm grateful to be alive.
Mhm.
Like I have a gift of being alive. Um, and I'm not going to waste it. I'm not going to squander it. It's different for everybody. I really appreciate people all over the world that I've connected with that I've never met face to face. And then I've, with my family here, they've been so supportive of everything I've been trying to accomplish. And, it's been a lot to ask for, you know, me to be working these long, long hours for the goal of something that you don't know if it's going to happen at one point in the beginning. You just don't know where you're going to end up.
Mhm.
Um, I'm just, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to be able to do what I've loved to do since I was a little girl, put words on paper and
Mhm.
have people read them. That's
Oh,
all.
I
That's
love
it.
it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I think that someone who is grateful for a little deserves the world. Grateful for the smaller things, just the opportunity, it is super powerful. Everybody listening right now, that has been Joy Kriston, who is an amazing human and a powerful copywriter. Don't hesitate to get connected with her. And as always, this has been Gratitude for the Grind. Love, be well, and don't forget to have the guts to follow your guts. Peace.
Thanks.